Hello everyone, Sandbox Code here. In this video we will discuss two different topics. The first topic we'll briefly discuss my channel in 2022. And in the second part we'll discuss the community's resolutions for the new year in 2023. Alright, so this is a very quick history lesson. When I first started focusing on this channel, it was around April of last year. I wanted to mainly focus on DR benchmarks at the time. The 3090 Ti had just dropped, and I noticed there was no VR benchmarks in DCS. Thinking back, it's really obvious, right? Most reviewers shunned the 3090 Ti due to its enormous price tag and advised everyone to just wait for the heavily rumored 4090. You can tell where I'm going with this, right? I went all in and grabbed it. However, after a few months, the car started having problems. I ended up doing an RMA. Then the retailer, since they didn't have any more in stock, they just gave me a full refund for the car. Thinking back, I got incredibly lucky, blessed, what have you. But it's funny reflecting back to those early days when I really started focusing on this channel. I just really wanted to uplift the DCS world, and the best way I knew how at the time was just to share VR benchmarks and test B-rank. I had gotten really burned out by seeing people claim that the 3090 was king, and they just didn't show any numbers at the time. Secondly, I had the goal of just getting to 100 subscribers because that was the only way I knew how to get the YouTube grow, and I think there's still a case you need 100 subscribers. This way, I can just go tell my friends like, hey, check out my channel in Sandbox Code, instead of giving them some random number code, which I think is what new channels get from YouTube, at least at the time of the recording. And it's funny looking back because this channel has grown 3 times that. Alright, enough about the history of this channel. And let's move on to what other people might actually prefer to hear about. Let's discuss the community poll. The poll asks, what are your New Year's resolutions for 2023? As you can see, the top vote is mastering a single module. However, the second place vote was air-to-air refueling, which is what yours truly was actually struggling with. I had always put off air-to-air refueling because it looked really difficult and time-consuming. Honestly, it was pretty difficult for me at first. I had a lot of trouble intercepting the tanker properly. Second, in the mission I created, the route I drew for the AI tanker was really difficult because it just kept turning, and it was very difficult for me to predict which way the tanker would turn. Lastly, I didn't know how to maintain my speed long enough to even get connected to the tanker, which basically just means I needed to practice my formation. Alright, so to fix my problem, it involved a few different steps. But the first step was, of course, after like watching a couple tutorials, reading Chuck's guide, how to do air refueling, I ended up eventually landing on Red Kite's tutorial where he linked to a refueling mission, which I will make sure to link to in the comments in case somebody else is having that issue. Next, the light bulb really turned on for me after watching Raptor Dad's stream about air-to-air refueling. It just clicked. He gave some very good tips that just works in general for any jet, because in the stream he was actually flying the F-16, but I was practicing with the F-18 Hornet. Anyways, that all worked out. So I'll make sure to link to Raptor Dad's stream as well. Alright, so everything just ended up clicking there. And my third thing though, there was a third thing. I just made sure I didn't get distracted, like during my free time when I was playing DCS. I just made sure I just kept practicing with the Hornet, and I just stayed in that mission that I mentioned earlier, which is what Red Kite created. Granted, that mission was for the F-16, but I made some minor adjustments. I just put the F-18 in there, and I used the tanker that the F-18 hooks up to. That was pretty much the only changes I made to that map locally. So yeah, it felt great after filling up half a tank. I really feel like a complete boss. And it feels so good to scratch off my New Year's resolution for DCS so early. In closing, I wish everyone a happy 2023. The future for DCS looks bright. We have a wonderful community. Hope you enjoyed the video and stay safe out there, pilots.